Jai Sadama, everyone. This is Sadhvi Siddhali Shree here with my spiritual teacher and guru, Acharya Shree Yogeesh, for the 21st episode of Acharya Shree's podcast. Acharya Shree is a respected enlightened one who has helped thousands of souls progress on their spiritual path and totally transform. Welcome to all of our new listeners, and thank you for tuning in. Matavanami, Acharya Shree.
Yes,
Acharya Shree, in one of your previous podcast episodes, we were discussing the nature of the soul. And I remember you had mentioned a kind of cool and interesting statement. And you said that every single pore in your body can see, can hear, can taste. That sounds very kind of unusual and exciting. Can you shed more light on that, please?
Interesting. Yeah, the basic nature of the soul is, I mentioned maybe it is kind of people don't know it. It is uniqueness of the soul. You cannot understand unless you go through. First of all, I mentioned also, and I always mention in the past, that our soul awakening is natural, but there are blockages. And 6 senses, they are blocking it. Why? Because they bring lot of stuff in around the soul. Unfortunately, our all senses, they are open outsider. They are outsider. They are not insider. And I can prove it. Your eyes, suppose. Eyes, whatever it sees outside, it brings in. And that is the way we collect all this karma. If eyes, they don't go out, they're not outsider, they are insider, suppose. Insider, what they will bring in? Nothing. They are already insider. And that's why eyes, these eyes, they cannot see in. They see only outside. And outside, whatever it is visible for the eyes, that's what we have either raga or dvesha on it. As soon as we see anybody, any person, anything, either we like it or dislike it, right? If no eyes, there is no disliking or liking. It's no way. All our senses, mostly they are outsider. And they bring things from outside to inside. And the soul begin to just covered by the karmic particle. That's what it happened. Like nose, suppose, our smell. Smell outside, but nose doesn't smell inside. Can you believe if nose begin to smell inside? What we have inside, you cannot stand your own body. But unfortunately, or fortunately, it is outsider sense. It only smells outside, not inside. And that's the main problem. Why soul doesn't wake up? Because these all senses, I call them idiots anyway. Why? Because they are outsiders. And they go outside and they bring lot of stuff in, and poor soul just get trapped into these blockages, get trapped into these all karmic particles. They're like a clouds. Taste is same, outsider. Whatever we bring from the outside, it tastes. And we can get addicted to it. We are too much involved into this taste, this sense. Same thing your ears. They don't hear inside what is going on, but they hear outside. Same thing your sense, touch. Touch it is not like it can go far, but things has to come close to it. Without touch sense, we cannot feel what is hot, which is cold, which is light, which is heavy, which is rough, which is delicate. but it has to come close to it, right? Most of all senses, they are outsider. And mind, sixth sense, is always wandering in the whole world. It is saying that where there is no sun, sun doesn't reach anywhere, mind will reach everywhere. Sun will not reach. The sun has so much light, but mind will go everywhere. So it is a difficult thing that soul cannot be awakened till these outsider senses are fully closed. And they have to be closed. There are many ways to close them off. Like we mentioned sometimes shocking news. Shocking news sometimes it closed off all the senses. It happened in India. One very old lady, she became so popular than anybody else. And she was uneducated. She couldn't write, she couldn't read. Bhuri Bai, her name. And she was young, she got married, teenagers. And suddenly, husband died in accident. And she loved him so much. And now she didn't want to eat, she didn't want to drink. And she tried, she cannot put anything in the body. And people try that eat, otherwise you cannot survive. That now is the person I loved is not there, to whom I will eat. She closed the senses fully. And she stayed without food years and years till she died. It's shocking. People think they cannot survive without food. It survives if can close off. But it has to shut off 100%. In her case, this sense fully closed off. And it is totally shut off. And the soul, now this sense cannot bring all the particles of the karma around the soul. And soul has no choice now to wake up. Because less particles, less chances to block the light of the soul. So at least one sense was good for her. And people were worshipping her so badly, means so much. Cannot believe it. She just shut up only one sense. And by shocking. But it can happen many other ways. Look at Mahavir Tirthankar, 24th Tirthankar in the Shramanic tradition. Is considered to be the last Tirthankar. His 27 lives. When he began to spiritual path, his name was Nayasar. Nayasar was just a labor person working or taking care of the cattle. Nayasar, but he has only one, he was not educated, but he has one best quality. Best quality was, he heard from someone that Atithi Devo Bhava, that consider your guest is like a divine. And he heard if you eat, if you have a food, that give to someone if there is a someone. First give, don't eat. And he followed this quality whole of his life. He was not old enough, he was young still. And all other his fellow, they were having their own lunch. And he went under the tree, he sat down, because in the forest what you will do. He sat down under the tree and he looking if anybody, guest coming, and I can give the food. That is my first rule. I will not eat unless I give. He looking around, he couldn't find anyone whom to give the food first. He was resting and suddenly he saw few Shramanas, monks. They got lost in the forest. It was hot and they didn't know how to get from this forest to go to the city. Almost lunchtime. And he became so happy when he saw them. And his heart fully filled up with the joy and happiness that my vow not to eat first before I give. I will ask them. He invited them that you can have this under this tree, you can sit down, rest. And you seems like very hungry and thirsty. He said, yes, we are. We lost. And we don't know how to get out of this forest. He said, I can help you. But you seem very hungry. Can I provide you this food? He said, but we take the food, but it has to be certain way. That it is prepared already. It's nothing. It is a good food. And he provided because now there were few monks and he gave all the food to them. And he was so happy. His heart was filled up with joy. And after that, he was telling them how to get out of this forest. He guided them. And when he was walking with them, that's what I'm trying to tell. The soul, when it wake up, we don't have any time. It's a momentarily. Any moment. That's what Mahavira used to say. Don't waste even one kind of moment. Because you never know. The next moment, maybe your awakening moment. While he was walking with the monk, they gave him that, do you do any spiritual practices? He said, I have no idea. I am not educated. But I know only to give someone before I eat. That is the only tradition I follow. Nothing else. He said, no, you have to sit, meditate. They gave him a little bit idea about spirituality. And after he come back to sit under the tree, he began to follow it. He didn't know that it was his last day of life. In the evening, you know the story further, that he has to cross the river, right? All his cattle, they already crossed. It was dark. And he knew how to swim, but there was a flooded. River was fully high current because in the forest some heavy rain flooded and lot of trees, one sharp branch while he was crossing the river, it pierced into his chest, heart maybe. And he didn't know what to say, but he heard that Namo Arihantaran, but he didn't remember the word. And he said, there is no way I can save my life. It went too far in his body. He couldn't take it out. That I don't remember anything what they told me, Namo Arihantanam. But he remembered Tanam, Tanam, Tanam. And that was his last moment of his life. And by saying that, it is saying in Jain tradition that he went to Sodharmic heaven. Sodharmic heaven is the highest heaven. Means because his soul awakening was right there. He had filled up his life with happiness, joy. Not only that, it was his last day, and he was in very high thinking. And he was thinking that time when he was dying that I wasted my whole life. I didn't know what spiritual practices are, except giving food. Altogether, it shocked him by in the end of the last breath, his soul, his pores began to fill up with all joy and happiness, or bliss, I call it. And he destroyed all this karma. When you go very deep into your consciousness, very deep into your soul wakes up, and all this karma, they begin to break. All these knots of the karma, they begin to break so fast. But you have to be in that state that nobody can stop you. And you are into it. I like Australians saying, when they wish happy birthday, you know what they say?
No, I don't.
Here in America, we say happy birthday, right? Happy birthday from my deep heart. What they say? Down, under, right? What is down under? I think unknowingly they are saying it. When you go fully down means deep under, into your soul, deep into your soul. That is the way the soul particles, they begin to shake. And when they shakes one time, they have no choice. They have to wake up. Soul has to wake up, but it has to go somehow fully deep into consciousness. Something has to be done that all these senses, whatever I explain, they are outsider. They will be fully closed. And when they are closed, that is the way it starts. And all these five senses, they collect, the five senses, living being and the mind, they collect a lot of karma. That's why since centuries, we are collecting too much, because animals have five senses. Panchendriya means five senses, and with the mind, they collect a lot of six senses, one. So they are unfortunately outsiders. They have to be shut off. How to shut off? Any incident happen in your life, when someone beloved one dies in the family, people, they have no desire to eat, to drink. Sometimes 1 day, 2 days, 4 days, I have seen it. So it is amazing that how our senses can be closed off. Till senses are not closed off, there is no shock. The shock has to be there. That's what in meditative state, what we call in the Nirgranth Sampradaya. Nirgranth means Jain monks and nuns, they call Nirgranth. Nirgranth. Granth means knots. Nirgranth means no knots. In Nirgranth Sampradaya, they call it that Panchendriya, when they have a developed mind with it, they collect a lot of karma, lot of particles of karma, and they are all blocking the shining and the light and the bliss of the soul. And somehow, when they are fully closed off, Kayotsarga, what is Kayotsarga means? Like you even totally leave behind your body too. Forget senses, even your body. You forgot where you standing, are you sitting, are you lying down? So then it means all these senses will be fully closed off. And fully closed off, there is no choice left for the soul, just to wake up. Did you understand?
Yes. Thank you, Acharya Shree. It's interesting that Tirthankar Mahavir's moment of waking up was 27 lives before he became a Tirthankar, 27 lives before he got enlightened. So it's interesting because a lot of people have this idea when you wake up in this life, you might be enlightened the same life. But it shows that this spiritual journey can take multiple lives. And in the case of Tirthankar Mahavir, it took him 27 lives. So it seems the most important thing for a soul is the moment of waking up, because when you wake up, enlightenment is almost guaranteed. It just takes time.
Takes a little time, yes.
So what's happening in that process of the 27 lives? Because, or let's not refer to Tirthankar Mahavir, let's say an individual, and she has, let's say, 27 lives left. She has her moment of awakening in that first life, and then the remaining lives, she's still collecting karma, or he's still collecting karma. At the same time, they're also improving and waking up even more. So the karma collected, is it strong enough to block them, or is it just kind of the peeling of layers?
It is both. When they have any soul, when they get the body with 5 senses and developed mind, and I always say that developed mind is a blessing. And same time, developed mind is a curse. Curse is that way that if you have developed mind and if you are on the wrong path, you collect too much karma. That's what Mahavira's soul. Another life, he became a powerful king. They call it Vasudeva. His name was Tripishthak Vasudeva. He collected so many bad karma in that life that he collected like hellish karma. He has to go through those planets where people always suffering. It's amazing. Even though those moments awakening happen, but doesn't mean that it continue. Mm-hmm. It's still blocking lot of. It needs more inspiration to wake up more. Many incidents. Somebody asked Krishna. Krishna is a god into Indian culture, Hindu culture especially. And they consider him a god. Somebody asked that you became a god. How many lives did you work on to get this, to be known as a god? Said, my journey begins 9.9 million lives ago. And people these days, they think, oh, we want to get enlightenment this life. But do you know when your journey begins? They think, oh, we just started our journey. And you want result immediately. A sahaj pake so meetha hoye. Slow and steady wins the race. Have a lot of patience. And you can find the way. I'm not saying the enlightenment doesn't happen in this life. It can happen. There is no time for it. It's just a moment. And the moment, sometimes it peels all your layers of karma. It can happen suddenly, but in many people's case, it's not easy. Sometimes it is easier. You heard then Krishna's brother in Jain literature. He was his youngest brother, and he became a monk. And he asked spiritual practices from the 22nd Tirthankar, Arishtanemi or Neminath. And he gave him permission, right? He was not even, he was maybe just entering into the teenager's life. and his bald head fully. And he was into the cemetery doing a special sadhana. And in that sadhana, upsarg will happen. Means there will be a big difficulty. And big difficulty, you know that. His future father-in-law, Somil Brahmin, he saw him and he did. He made a clay around his head and embers in the cemetery and he put in his head. But now he is in that state. The body is burning, but his all senses are fully shut off. All single pore. You know that the burning embers on your head, how much painful it is. But because his senses are shut off fully, right? He is standing in peaceful position, Kayotsarga, and he's live, he's burning, but he doesn't move. He's steady in his posture, he's steady in his sadhana. He was able to close all these senses, including mind. And what happened? After few moments, all these karma, they begin to burn. One after another, one after another. He was able to burn all these karma within minutes. It is saying his soul went to the Siddhaloka first, his body fell down later. That is the speed of the soul. We have to find that speed to burn the karma. But I'm not saying you burn yourself.
That was maybe his karma. He had, like you said, they have that difficulty, that kind of karma in order to attain that liberation. Last question, Acharya Shree. Sadhvi Anubhuti and I were having a discussion the other evening talking about karma, how to liberate the soul. You know, these are the conversations we have. Can you invite, because karma, nikachit karma, which is like a guaranteed karma, it needs to happen. But if someone, like a monk or anybody's very determined to burn as much nikachit karma in their life to possibly get enlightened in the same life, is it okay and is it possible to invite the nikachit karma into the present life and then you become liberated? Or that nikachit karma has to happen in that particular life, maybe several lives away? Is it possible?
Both possible. Naturally, it will be giving you result the way they're supposed to. You cannot avoid from the nikachit karma. That is, in another word, we call it niyati or destiny. So you cannot avoid. It will give the result. Yes, you can invite them early. Hey, I am ready. Can you give me the result now? I don't want to wait 10 lives. Can you come now? But to invite them is a very difficult process. Gaj Sukamal was able to invite them within minutes. And there were maybe millions of nikachit karma. He still had it. But he was able to burn within minutes. He was invited. Not only he invited, he burned them too. Yes, there are many ways to invite them. Fasting is one way. That's what I tell people. If you cannot do sometime one fasting here and there. So it is like inviting the karma. Hey, I am ready. Because sometimes many people, they have tendency in fasting, their body becomes painful. What does it mean? Whatever you are trying to get this pain after 100 lives later, you are getting now. This suddenly comes. This is called invitation. You can invite them, and when you invite them, they can burn. That's what enlightenment and enlightenment is not predictable. Everything else is predictable except enlightenment. Because enlightenment, even God cannot predict. Right? I gave you that example sometime. The Narada. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the dancing guy under the tree, monk, and his teacher. He was just dancing. He was just enjoying. He was just in that mode. Nothing can disturb him. Even Narada couldn't disturb him. He was asking, can I ask your lives, how many lives you will go? And the God even told, yeah, wherever he's dancing under the tree, you can count. And there were many leaves on that tree. He's not like his teachers, but it was still. But he got so happy to hear that news that I will get enlightened soon. And he continued dancing. They say thanks to the God that you are very kind, you are very compassionate, you are very generous, that at least I will be liberated too. But he kept dancing. And Narada went to the God. He found him sitting with the God already. He said, you are saying he has a lot of lives left. But I don't have control, God said. He did it. He invited all these things. He was dancing, enjoying, and he went so deep, he forgot everything, his body, his senses. He burned. He was able to burn with dancing. It's not in my control. You could have stopped him dancing. He will not be here, but you couldn't. So, that's what invitation is. Once you invite all these karma, they will give the result very quickly. And they can burn all these karma very quickly. You know the burning karma, how it's like embers on your head, burning embers. That's what every single pore of your body begin to burn. But you go through that pain quickly and all this karma is over. Enlightenment is possible in the same life if we begin to invite. But if your body doesn't permit you to invite, I tell them don't suicide. Don't commit suicide. Because many people, they commit suicide, kind of. They will force themselves to fast, and the body doesn't allow it. So it is like you have this instrument to burn karma, you're going to destroy it. Do it whatever you can do, in your power. If it is beyond your power, don't do it. Don't destroy at least this. This is a beautiful instrument to burn the karma. Human body is the best instrument to burn the karma. And we cannot destroy it. That's what I suggest people. Committing suicide is the biggest sin. Everything else is less. But that is biggest because you got the chance and you're destroying it. Invite the karma according to your power. Then, if enlightenment doesn't happen this life, it can happen next life. But it is going to happen. Keep inviting. Nikashit karma, they will give their results. But if you invite them, they can give you result right away, quickly. And you are liberated right away. Right? And actually for me, somebody asked me, what is mukti? What is liberation? I tell them that the liberate from the body is not the liberation. No. Karma mukti, kill mukti reva. If you are liberated from all these karma, which is especially nikashit karma, then you are liberated. Just find the way.
Just be careful what you wish for.
Yes, that is sure.
Thank you, Acharya Shree Mathamandami. And thank you all again for tuning into Acharya Shree's podcast today. Please be sure to subscribe to his podcast on iTunes and YouTube, as well as follow Acharya Shree on social media via Facebook and Instagram. This way you continue to receive guidance for your spiritual journey. Jai Siddhartha.
Jai Siddhartha.